Hello. I hope this works. I'm feeling inspired to come on here and host another conversation with Mother of the Mind. And it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've popped on with my intention to really share, the yoga practice, sharing this concept of how mindful it can be, re-emphasizing this mind-body component that the yoga practice offers us. And today I want to talk about or share a teaching, We've been talking about the 4 parts of the mind. There's one video where I really talk and kind of just quickly break them down. And today, and then the last time we talked about manas, which is the linear mind, that yes, no, like, dislike. And then there's the part of the mind that's called the Chitta. And Sanskrit being such a cool language that there's a couple different interpretations for the Chitta. But the way that we're going to talk about it right now, as far as the 4 parts of the mind, it's sometimes referred to as the unconscious part of our mind, or the way I like to think of it is the storehouse of emotions. So the Chitta, this part of our mind, we think of our mind up here, but again, this whole mind-body experience, the Chitta is our heart. It's what touches our heart, the emotions that may be linked to our heart. And so if we're thinking of the Chitta as the storehouse of emotions, what emotions get stored in there? And generally these emotions are stored from an impression or a moment or an experience that was profound or pretty big experience, usually in our childhood. And those impressions in our mind are called Samaskaras. And so we each individually have various Samaskaras. So all of our Chitta is different. And that's why we all respond differently to experiences, to words, to so much, We all have different childhood experiences and things that made an impression in our childhood. And Samaskaras are thought of, or can be, my mask as well, can be, have been explained in this Vedic philosophy, that they are imprinted even as early as being in the womb with your mother. So we've have these storehouses of emotions as early as when we may not even be or have consciousness, When does consciousness happen? And perhaps one could say it happens as early as in the womb, at least those impressions do. And really to just understand, I guess, about the Chitta is oftentimes we may have reoccurring thoughts, reoccurring feelings, certain behaviors or ways that we respond to people, not based on them, based on ourselves. So for example, somebody made you upset. Somebody said something to you that made you really upset. And while we may want to blame the other person, and there's of course certain circumstances where we can blame the other person, but for this example, or for most samskaras, it's not really the other person that has the issue. It's our own Chitta that makes us think that it's based on the other person. It's our own samaskaras, our own impressions that wants to think it's based on the other person, but really it's our own impressions, our own scars that are making us react in that way. So how can we become more observant of this? And this takes time. I would say it takes a lot of time with therapist or somebody that is very aware of the mind or the shadow parts of our mind, the parts that we might not even be aware of. That's why it's unconscious. It's not conscious to us. The Chitta is not often conscious to us. So that's why we need a support. We need somebody that can show or be a mirror to our Samaskaras and the Chitta in a very thoughtful and nurturing way. So I'll leave it at that. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the Chitta, how you experience the Storehouse of Emotions, and if you can think of any scenarios in your life where perhaps you did have a quick reaction to something. I remember one of my therapists said, we usually know a Samaskara has been triggered when there's tears attached to it. Not necessarily saying that only when you have tears you are triggering a Samaskara, but a strong emotion can generally signify to us that we've triggered something in our heart, right? A deep impression in our heart, a wound that may be so deep that we may not even know where it's coming from. So let me know if anything comes up for you in hearing a little bit more about the Chitta and our Samaskaras and this part of our mind. Yeah, talk soon.